Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ITBR Rewatches. Today, we'll be discussing Smash, episode 4 of season 1, The Cost of Art. Today, with us, we have Elizabeth Winder, the author of Marilyn Manhattan. Elizabeth, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. I'm really excited to be here discussing this show and all things Marilyn Monroe, of course.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we're so glad to have you on. Andrew, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm here because, when Elizabeth's in the ivory tower boiler room, I need to appear. I feel like we're reliving our blonde moments, Elizabeth.
Oh, and I was
You know,
thinking, I have been thinking about that too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, not the stereotype of people who are blonde, everyone out there. The movie blondes. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I guess like what I first heard about this episode is and I can like say to everyone, I'm so happy that Elizabeth is joining us also for 5. So you all can like anticipate that because I feel like this is a good um like precursor and when someone is like running a race in the Olympics, like where they get that head start, I feel like this is a good head start, but it's not um as impactful yet. Like it really builds us to episode 5, but um I have here the first rehearsal. I feel like I was just curious what you like both of you thought about Karen and her being in the ensemble because um I felt like it really builds this tension between her and Ivy. And I'm just wondering how much of this is psychologically concocted between them or how much of this is Derek actually igniting, like and manipulating them against each other. Yeah.
Do you want to go first,
I
Christian?
can. I mean, when I was rewatching it, I actually never thought about that it was all Derek's doing. And we'll discuss that again in episode 5 because it's big on there. But with this, with hers wanting Karen to either, I believe that he pushed her back into the ensemble at this point, or chorus as I'd like to call it. It gives Karen a bit of like agency, but again, she's, oh, woe is me. I'm in the chorus, blah, blah, blah. And it's very, she's in her own head, and it makes Ivy seem like she's the most popular girl in school, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
to remind
yeah.
everyone too, just this is when right Karen is um upstaging, as you would call it in theater
Yes.
lingo. Like she's drawing attention away from uh Ivy and like
Yep.
she's in Ivy's mind over singing, over dancing and like Karen has this line where she says, well, um or actually I don't think that's her line, but I was just like wondering with Elizabeth, like how would Marilyn have reacted in this scenario?
As Ivy or as Karen?
I guess as either,
Ooh,
like if you think Marilyn
both.
has been in both of their positions before.
Yeah, as the whole time I'm thinking like I don't know how much of the point of the show this is, but I'm trying to see Marilyn in the characters in Ivy, but also I see her in Karen a little bit. I don't, from what I know about Marilyn Monroe, I don't see her as being somebody who would ever be upset I don't think it would ever occur to her that a woman was upstaging her. I
Mm.
think that it might occur to her that sometimes like men are upstaging her in a different way. Because for one, and I don't want to derail the conversation, but these types of musicals, what she did a lot with 20th Century Fox, that was such a, I mean, they have the that number, the Fox Mambo, the 20th Century Fox Mambo. So they're actually referencing it. They were just churning out these musicals and filming these musicals. It was really, really hard on her, like in a one like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, you can't really tell how difficult it is because the dancing, I think, is so like effortless looking on her part. But it was really tough. And anyway, I don't see that. I don't see her responding at all the way Ivy did in that sort of way. I think that, and one thing that I did think about was this, like pitting pitting two young I don't want to say starlet because that's not what I mean. And they're not starlets, but you know what I mean. These young actresses, women together, putting them against each other. That was a technique that the studios did a lot. They would kind of concoct these fake fights or like cat fights for the sake of drumming up publicity. And that's what made me think, is this Derek's doing? And then of course, later on, I'm thinking, oh boy, he is a problem.
Yeah. Well, wait, and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, that's with Jane Russell and Marilyn, right?
Yes. And those
Okay.
two actually had a wonderful friendship filming that one. I think that's why with Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, it was a little less harrowing for Marilyn than say one that she did after There's No Business Like Show Business. Plus, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, just such a better film, you know, was based off a musical. She believed in the script a lot more. But yeah, I don't see her. I think that one of the things that I was sort of thinking the whole time was seeing the ways that Ivy is very different than Marilyn Monroe, but then the ways that she is sort of in other ways capturing something elemental about her.
Yeah. Oh, Judy Garland is in There's No Business Like Show Business, right? Is that the Variety movie?
I think, you know, I never saw the whole thing, but it's where she's this one song that's in it is the tropical heat wave. We're having a heat wave. She's got this crazy thing on her head. Marilyn, it's doing a song and dance.
Yeah, Christian. I was gonna say Christian is like all things classical cinema. Is that the one where there's like multiple stars, Christian, doing
You had
different
Ethel Merman in
performances?
there with
Yeah.
with what's his name? There's one who wants to be a priest, but you can tell that he's gay, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, but the pitting of the women against each other, Elizabeth, you're right. It's something that was so realistic with the studio system.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. Because they were doing it, and they did it mainly to drum up publicity, but I also think that they did it so that these studio execs like Daryl Zanuck could remain in power. You pit them against the women against each other. That's a way of disempowering them.
yeah. So like I'm even just curious about like how do you think Marilyn would have reacted to her life being made into a musical?
I think she would have loved it.
Yeah.
I think she would have looked at it with curiosity and an open mind, because those two qualities are totally curiosity and open mind, Marilyn core qualities. That's sort of how she approached things in general.
Yeah. Well, like in Christian, I remember on our first ever, like you launching this in the first episode, we had done like this whole analysis, Elizabeth, about Karen and Ivy are kind of really playing foils of Marilyn. Like we even asked, could there be a musical of her with only one woman? Or does it make sense that there's two women representing different psychological aspects of her?
That's
Um,
interesting. I
yeah.
think that's, yeah, I could really see that. It's sort of like foils of Marilyn, but it kind of like, you know, with Marilyn out there, I don't think there's anyone on earth who has ever existed who was as much of like a the idea of a person, right? She means something, multiple things to everyone. And who was she really? So there's the Karen side of Marilyn that people sort of see, which is the girl who came from nothing. I mean, Marilyn was California, not Iowa, but you know what I mean? Like sort of not unsophisticated. Do you know what I mean? That all of that, and quite innocent. And then there's that like ba ba boom bampy pinup, very styled Marilyn that she kind of helped create herself as and the two of them are almost like shadows of each other.
Mm.
It would be almost interesting to see the same actress like playing two different roles.
Yeah. And that's really what I don't know. I mean, when they bring this to Broadway, Elizabeth, New York City trip for you. I feel like we all have to be there when they bring
Yes.
this to Broadway because I really have a feeling they're going to have multiple women. And I think they should because it's like what we discussed, Elizabeth, when they try to cast one um actress as Marilyn, like It's well, actually, I have to say, I don't think it's the like acting of who plays Marilyn. I think it's what happens when the different men are brought in at different stages
True.
of her life, especially in Blonde. I actually really loved Anna de Armas's interpretation.
I did too. I did too. And I think that the relationships with the men, the men that she had real relationships with, consensual relationships with, DiMaggio, Miller, they were, I liked the acting there too.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So Christian, what's our next? What do you have, to jump into for us?
Oh goodness. Well, I do love the instant friending of all these different ensemble casts that we have. We have Wesley Taylor, we have the other two girls that kind of cheer Karen on, I think. And I think that's really empowering for her. And I really did love that moment where they went into her apartment building and they just started taking out all her clothes and they're like, what's this? No, we gotta get rid of this. They did
I love that too. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
whole wardrobe malfunction change. So it was amazing. And I love that they did that. And then after that, they sat down on the couch and they were talking, they were laughing, they were just having fun. And that's what I think is amazing about the shows, that they can be Broadway, but they can also be humbling and honest and raw with each other while this being a musical show. They're also being able to say, okay, well, we're at home. We're not in Broadway mode. We're just relaxing. We're chatting. We're shooting the breeze, and then all of a sudden they're trying to get Karen to get into dance mode because they need to get her to learn these freaking steps because apparently she's too much of a hick to understand. I'm like, that kind of sounds a little bit demeaning for her in her aspect. I don't know what you two thought about it when you guys
It
saw
was
it.
very human. It was a very human moment, very with so much warmth. And I really liked that part too. You know what else I liked that was leading up to that? Right before they went to her apartment, they were I think it was before, they were all at a shop, like at a I think probably like a dance clothing store boutique. I loved that part because I have this like niche obsession with like off-duty dancer slash ballerina practice clothes, even though I'm not a dancer. I have absolutely no business wearing them myself. I love them, and I love the specificity that the one, because there's one guy with them, one guy and two girls, and I think he's the one who says like wear the flesh tone tights and then the fishnets on top to add texture. I was like, oh, I do that. Like I love that look. I like how they're the sweater with like the neckline cut off. And then the next time you see her at practice, she's got the sweater with the neckline cut off. I love that those like sheer ballet dance sweaters. So I always loved it. I always love bringing in dance clothes, not the performance clothes, but like the practice clothes. There's something so cool about it.
And I love how like she breaks down and then they see her humanity. Like, because I think they didn't realize how psychologically under duress she is. They're like,
Right. It was
yeah,
obvious they didn't. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I think they're being fed so much from Ivy's perspective.
And Derek's, I guess, too,
Yeah.
to an extent. The girl, I forget her name, but the girl that Karen kind of has that, meltdown with emotional moment in the hallway.
Mm.
When there was like this pause, and I was thinking, oh boy, she's gonna say something really mean and kick her while she's down, but she didn't. And I was like, it just really smiled, and I was so happy then to see that, because then it was the cut to the clothing store and they're helping her out, and I just really loved that.
Yeah, yeah. Who is that actress? Do you know, Christian? 'Cause I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I couldn't. It wasn't like someone I instantly. Well, Leslie Odom Jr. is in this episode, and I mean, like now Leslie Odom Jr. is known so much for Hamilton, and like, oh, he's in Pearly Victorious on Broadway, and was in the Exorcist movie recently. Yeah,
There were a
it's
lot of
interesting.
actors that I'm like thinking, I think I've seen this person, like the actor who plays Derek. I seems
Oh
very
yeah.
familiar. I've watched so many British things, so I'm sure I've seen him many times in
His
Cops.
name is Jack Everett. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as a
Oh,
few other
okay.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Christian's gonna find the ensemble names. 'Cause I feel like I've seen her definitely before on Broadway. But like Elizabeth,
Savannah Wise, her name is Jessica. She plays Jessica.
oh,
Um,
Savannah
Savannah
Wise.
Wise and
Okay.
Wesley Taylor's Bobby, and then you have what's her name?
I'll have to see what she's in. But were you surprised that Angelica Houston and Deborah Messing were in this, Elizabeth?
I was surprised and thrilled.
Mhm.
I love both of them, and it's it's great to see them in this. I think that they both are doing an amazing job. They're both great actors, and I really they're Angelica Houston in the scene with the Degas
Hmm.
drawing or painting, like she's very capturing these really subtle, powerful emotions that are like just powerful emotions that controlled, from her characters, like, trying to control them. And it's really beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Savannah Wise was Evelyn Nesbit in the revival of Ragtime before the Smash Show. That's like one of my favorite musicals. I love, you
I
know,
saw Ragtime on Broadway in the 90s.
you saw the original Elizabeth. Wait, did you see it with Audra McDonald?
I forget. I think it would have been 1996. So I'm not sure. It was an overnight or weekend field trip to New York City.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah. Well, didn't even ask you. Do you have a background, Elizabeth? Because I don't know this in theater. Like, have you ever performed?
Absolutely not. I never have. Although I have fantasies of like joining a theater troupe and where all I do is play Blanche Dubois over and over again.
That sounds like a fever dream or a nightmare. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Um, yeah, but okay, let me just see. Oh, that's right. They're rehearsing Never Met a Wolf Who Didn't Love to Howl. Well, Never Met a Wolf is the song. But yeah, Christian, I mean, I know you have a lot of thoughts about this song. Like, is this one of your favorite numbers, Christian? Oh,
it was until I rewatched the next episode.
mhm,
That musical number became my new favorite. But I've always loved slim, the slim, the the simplicity of the
mhm,
lyrics on this song because Megan Hilty is able to become Marilyn in 2 seconds flat. Once she's like, okay, do it, be Marilyn. And she's just
mhm.
able to go into that character mode and just perform. And that's what I love about Megan Hilty is she's just an accomplished and amazing actress. And she's just
Yes.
able to, like Glenn Close's Criminal Divorce, she's just able to just become the character and
Mhm.
at the drop of a hat. And that's what I love about her performing as
This is
Marilyn.
Ivy, the actress who plays
Yep.
Yeah.
Ivy. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I noticed that too. That's slipping into it, kind of.
And the voice and the way that the vibrato and it's just like
Mhm.
it's just
She's got an
so
incredible voice.
Yeah.
That's actually another difference between her and Marilyn Monroe. Who I think Marilyn Monroe in her own way is a great singer, but she doesn't have anywhere near the range. I mean, she's this when listening to the Ivy, or forget the actress's name, sing. This is clearly somebody who's trained, I think, right, to be able to that range is really impressive.
Yeah, like Marilyn wasn't a belter. No. But she was good at like whispery, like very like highlighting her register to like
Yes, it
connect
was
with she was emotive.
exactly. Very specific within a certain range. I mean, like she sings in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and those songs are great. But even those songs, she's kind of whispering a little bit, because and it sounds lovely, but it's a sort of like a whispery thing. Never Met a Wolf song. I loved that too. And when I was watching it, I thought this makes me think so much of a song in a good way that could have been in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Last night I was watching clips of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, like, because it's just so, I love that movie, and the songs in it are just so great. There's so much like joy in it, and the way I don't have a music background, don't have a theater background, but the music really did remind me of something that could have appeared there. The lyrics did, the musical structure did, the choreography of the dances did, in a lot of ways, in the best way.
It's so big band. I mean, that's what I love about Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, who are doing the music and lyrics, is they did Hairspray, they did Some Like It Hot on Broadway right now. Like, they're so good at these like period pieces of the 50s and 60s.
That makes sense. There's a real understanding of that type of music at that time.
Yeah. Well, and actually, it is called I Never Met a Wolf Who Didn't Like to Howl. I just looked it up. Apparently, that's the actual name of the song. But I what I just love is like the playfulness of the lyrics. I mean, if I can indulge a reading, but I just love when you are born with sex appeal in a forest called Hollywood.
Love the
You'll find more wolves at your back door than that little Red Riding Hood. Now she and her little old grandma could have learned from the men I've dated that a wolf can be quite a devotee once he's domesticated.
I love
mean,
too.
So good. Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Rimby, the host and director of the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. I hope you're enjoying what you're watching on the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. So to watch the rest of the episode, head to our Patreon. It is patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. That's Ivory Tower Boiler Room. And you can watch the rest of the episode on our $5 a month membership called ITBR Student, or join the ITBR Professor membership. It's only $10 a month. You get access to all of our videos. You get access to both of our book clubs, the Ivory Tower Boiler Room and the True Crime and Academia book club. Plus, you unlock all of our other episodes. So at the ITBR Student, you only get access to our weekly interviews and the True Crime and Academia episodes. For $10 a month, you get access to our ITBR Rewatches, our Teaches series, and True Crime and Academia Rewatches and Teaches series, plus the book clubs. Okay, can't wait to see you all on Patreon. And just a reminder, I also offer consultation services. It is $30 for your initial consultation. You get a 1-hour private Zoom with me, and I will help you whether you want to create your own podcast and or media brand, you want to navigate academia as an undergrad or grad student, you need help with technology as it relates to teaching or media. Do you want to expand your social media presence as an artist, writer, podcaster, or academic, or even crafting your public humanities identity? I will help you with my consultation services. You can also find that on Patreon as well. Okay. Thank you all for watching and for supporting the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. Bye.